Hey, what's up? It's Marcello here. Now it's an important lesson. Let's review simple past and past continuous. Pay attention. Think about it. What did you do yesterday morning? What did you do yesterday morning? For example, I studied English. I had breakfast. Pay attention to the pronunciation. I had breakfast. I worked. I watched TV. I went to the grocery store. Let's review simple past. Use simple past for completed actions in the past. For completed actions in the past. Examples. I went to school yesterday. It's a completed action. I saw a movie last weekend. Pay attention to the pronunciation. I saw a movie last weekend. My brother played video games in the morning. So I'm describing an action in the past, a completed and finished action in past. So let's take a look here. You went to school yesterday. You played volleyball last weekend. It's an affirmative sentence. Okay? You didn't, remember, did plus not, didn't. You didn't go to school yesterday. You didn't play volleyball last weekend. That's the negative form. You have the auxiliary verb and the word not, okay? And of course the interrogative sentence. Remember the auxiliary verb did. Did you go to school yesterday? Did you play volleyball last weekend? That's the interrogative sentence. We often use the past simple with time expressions. So pay attention to time expressions in a sentence. For example, yesterday, last week, 2 years ago. Did you go to school yesterday? You see this word, this time expression, yesterday? And remember, it's an interrogative sentence. Do not forget the auxiliary verb did. I traveled to the US 2 years ago. 2 years ago, it's a time expression. It's a finished, a completed action. I didn't or I did not clean the house last week. That's the negative sentence. Okay, it's just to review, you know that. Pay attention to these sentences. I loved his new movie. We watched TV 2 days ago. He studied all night yesterday. They chatted online last week. So remember, when you add d or ed or ied, you put the verb in the past form. You do that with regular verbs. Remember, with regular verbs, you conjugate them using d, ed, or ied. Okay? When are you going to use d, ed, or ied in this spelling? Pay attention to this. You can pause this and pay attention. We have the verb, right? The base form. The base form is like when you see the verb, the word in a dictionary. So watch, watched, that's the past. And the spelling you add ed. Play, pay attention to this verb play. It ends in the letter Y, but before Y, before the letter Y, I have a vowel, A. So if it ends in Y and has a vowel, you add ed, played. That's the general rule. If you have a verb that ends in E, for example, leave, dance, you just add the letter D to form this spelling in the past form. So lived, danced. When you have a verb that ends in a consonant, in a vowel and consonant, for example, stop, you repeat the last consonant and add ed. Okay, stop, stopped. Study, pay attention to this. Play ends in Y, you add ed. But studied, it ends in Y and has a consonant before Y. You remove the Y and add ied. Pay attention to that rule. Okay, if the verb ends in Y and you have before the letter Y, a consonant, you remove the Y and add IED with regular verbs. ED pronunciation, pay attention, it's really, really important. There are 3 ways to pronounce ED. Let's take a look. For example, when the verb ends with letter T, for example, wanted. Repeat after me. Wanted. When the verb ends in letter D, needed. Needed. I wanted, you needed. Now with this sound of T, right? For example, when it ends in P, helped, talked. This is a sound, okay? Like s, kiss, kissed, kissed. Now we have this ch sound. Watched, watched. And we have the sh, like in finish. So if the verb ends in sh, you have to pronounce like T, like finished, finished, kissed, watched, and finished. And the other ones you pronounce like D. Oh, and also like laugh, laugh, laughed. Okay, laughed. In voices sounds like named, offered, loved, closed, but this is the Z sound, like Z, closed. And words, and when you have words and in vowel sounds like allowed, played, tried, showed, okay? Let's review the irregular verbs. No other way, you need to remember. Buy, see, have, make, read, take, meet, do, write, think, wear, eat, go, buy, bought, have, had, make, made, go, went, write, wrote, do, did, meet, met, take, took, see, saw, read, read. Pay attention to the pronunciation. That's the same pronunciation of the color red. Read, I read. For example, I read a book yesterday. Think, thought, wear, wore, eat, ate. ED or IED. I played volleyball last weekend, or I played volleyball last weekend. The verb play ends in Y, and before Y I have a vowel, so you need to add ED. So the first one is correct. Next, I studied English at school, and I studied English at CEL. What's correct? The first sentence or the second sentence? The second sentence, right? I studied, because study ends in Y, and you have a constant before Y. Remove Y and add IED. Okay? Now an easy exercise. You can pause this video and answer. Pause this video now and answer the questions. Okay? All right. Now let's complete together. Number 1. I turned on the TV to watch my favorite cartoon. B. She arrived late for work and the boss was angry. C. Did you watch soccer on TV last night? D. I didn't like the movie. It was boring. Pay attention to the context. E. Why did you want to be a doctor? Easy, easy, just need to remember. Now past continuous. Use the past continuous to set the background for a story or tell about events in progress in the past. For example, past continuous will have the subject, was and were, these should be verb in simple past. You have the verb, right, the base form, and you add ing. For example, I was working a lot at 8 p.m. Subject wasn't or weren't, plus verb and ing, the negative sentence. For example, we weren't working at 6 p.m. And interrogative sentence was and were, plus subject, plus verb, plus ing. So were you chatting with your friends during the test? Now simple past and past continuous. For longer actions, we use the past continuous. And for short ones, completed actions, we use the simple past. That's the difference between simple past and past continuous. What were you doing when Jennifer arrived? Were you doing past continuous? Arrived, simple past. When Jennifer arrived, I was cooking. Okay, I wasn't watching soccer on TV when Jennifer arrived. Okay, next, Matthew. Okay, now pause the video, answer the questions. When it's a longer action, past continuous. When it's a short action, simple past. Pause the video and answer. Okay, now let's correct. Matthew was studying. Remember, Matthew, he was studying when his father called him. B, she was having lunch when the phone rang. Ring, it's a regular verb. Ring, rang. C, when Claire phoned her friends, they were playing. They were playing volleyball. Okay? Now a quiz game. Number 1. Choose the correct sentence. When I arrived in Canada, it was snowing a lot. When I arrived in Canada, it was snowing a lot. C. It was snowing a lot when I arrived in Canada. D. It was snowed a lot when I arrived in Canada. The correct answer letter A. Okay. 2. Choose the right verbs to complete the sentences. I, pay attention, stop the video. Okay. I was having breakfast when the phone rang. Think about it. Pause the video. The correct answer is letter B, right? I hurt my hands when I was cooking. 4. What did you buy last month? Think about it. Take a look at the column on the right. If you don't know the order of adjectives, watch the previous lesson. Stop it and answer. Letter D. I bought a small green bike. Okay. What's the past form of think, wear, and buy? They are irregular. So think, wear, and buy, simple past, it is letter D. Thought, wore, and bought. Okay, now next. 6. What's the past form of play, study, and dance? They're regular verbs. A, B, C, or D. Play ends in Y, but it has a vowel before. You add ed. Study ends in Y, and before that you have a consonant, and dance ends in E. You just need to add the letter D, right? So the correct spelling is played, studied, and danced. 7. Complete with the right auxiliary verb. What did you do yesterday? Claire did not have class. I was cooking lunch when I cut my finger. So the correct answer, it is letter A. Did, and was. Pay attention that I was cooking lunch, you have the verb, right, plus ing. And the last one, choose the right ed pronunciation in the following sentences. I checked my email today morning. I tried to guess an answer. The correct answer letter B, okay? I checked and I tried, okay? Here's the score. Chegamos ao fim da nossa aula. Não se esqueçam de seguir o Céu nas nossas redes sociais, @cel.acre, e também na plataforma Eduque. Thank you very much.